Hello and welcome. This is Notibot Yenji. In a rapidly changing global landscape, tensions are escalating as the Iran war continues to take its toll on energy markets and international relations. This week, the United States has faced a significant depletion of its interceptor stockpiles, while Iran has made a shocking discovery of Hitler posters in the country. We'll also explore how the war is pushing Europe back to nuclear energy, and the dramatic measures being taken by the Philippines to secure its energy future. Let's dive into the latest updates. The depleted stockpiles of U.S. interceptor missiles, critical to defending against Iranian ballistic missile threats, pose a pressing national security concern that could take years to rectify. A new U.S. Congress study has shed light on the inventory of interceptors available to the U.S. in the near future, raising concerns about the depletion of the THAAD ballistic missile interception system. The study, published last week, reveals that the rate of use of THAAD interceptors during Operation Epic Fury has further reduced the limited stock of interceptors. According to the document, the U.S. system has reached an interception rate of about 90% of all Iranian ballistic missiles and drones, with a focus on the UAE. The study found that half of all interceptions used to defend Israeli skies in the operation against Iran in June were made by the THAAD system, totaling 92 interceptions out of an estimated 632 interceptors. The Congressional Research Service, CRS, estimates that it could take 3 to 8 years to replenish the THAAD missile stockpile, each of which costs an estimated $12.7 million. The Foreign Policy Research Institute, FPRI, attributes the coalition's ability to continue attacking to the sheer number of munitions available, but notes that the strategic constraint lies in the interceptors that keep bases alive, long-range weapons that hold enemy launchers at risk, and sensor architecture that makes missile defense efficient. The depletion of the THAAD system raises concerns about the U.S. military's ability to defend against Iranian ballistic missiles and drones. The operation, which began in June, has seen a significant escalation of U.S. military action in the region. The involvement of the U.S., Israel, and other coalition partners underscores the growing regional tensions and the potential for a protracted conflict. The implications of this development are significant, as it highlights the challenges facing the U.S. military in defending against a determined adversary. Following a disturbing trend in other parts of the world, Iran is now experiencing a surge in the display of Nazi-era propaganda posters. A series of disturbing images has emerged in Iran, showing posters bearing Adolf Hitler's image and a quote attributed to him. These posters have been circulating on social media, shared by users claiming they were photographed in cities such as Babelsar and Kermanshah. The message on the posters appears to be aimed at Iranians accused of siding with foreign enemies, with a quote attributed to Hitler stating that those who cooperate with an occupier are akin to those who are happy about the violation of their own mother. The Jerusalem Post has reported that the quote is fabricated, and social media users have condemned the use of Hitler's image in public messaging. Some have noted the eerie presence of the Hitler poster alongside a larger public poster of Mojtaba Khamenei, Iran's new supreme leader. This juxtaposition has sparked outrage, with some comparing the Iranian regime's display of Hitler's image to an attempt to garner support from anti-Semitic groups. The appearance of these posters in recent months coincides with a surge in Iranian authorities' efforts to root out alleged foreign spies and collaborators. In recent months, hundreds of arrests have been made, with many accused of cooperation with Israel, the United States, or foreign-based opposition outlets. This crackdown has raised concerns about the Iranian regime's increasingly authoritarian and repressive tactics. The display of Hitler's image in this context is particularly disturbing, as it suggests that the regime is using anti-Semitic rhetoric to justify its actions. The implications for Iran's already fraught relations with the international community are significant, and highlight the need for closer scrutiny of the regime's human rights record. As tensions with Iran escalate, the continent is reassessing its energy strategy, with nuclear power once again poised to play a prominent role. In recent weeks, Iran's military aggression in the Middle East has had far-reaching consequences for global energy markets, particularly for Europe. The conflict began with a series of missile strikes by the United States and Israel against Iranian targets, including military facilities and nuclear sites. In response, Iran has launched attacks on energy-rich Gulf nations, including Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. The Iranian military has also imposed a blockade on the Strait of Hormuz, a key waterway that passes through the Persian Gulf and is critical for the global oil and gas trade. The blockade has sent oil prices soaring past $100 a barrel, causing widespread concern among energy traders and policymakers. The impact on Europe is significant, as the continent relies heavily on imported oil and gas to meet its energy needs. European nations, such as Germany and France, have already struggled with high electricity costs compared to trade rivals like China and the United States. The Iranian war is pushing Europe back to nuclear energy as a potential solution to its energy security challenges. Several European countries, including the United Kingdom and the Netherlands, have been exploring the possibility of developing new nuclear power plants to reduce their reliance on imported oil and gas. This shift in policy is driven by a growing concern that Europe's energy independence is under threat due to the escalating tensions in the Middle East. As tensions escalate in the Middle East, the Philippines is taking drastic action to address its energy crisis, declaring a national emergency and shifting towards coal power. The Philippines has declared a national energy emergency amid the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, which is disrupting global oil shipments. The declaration, made by President Ferdinand Marcos, allows officials to take direct action against fuel hoarding or profiteering. Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi stated that the Philippines will boost coal-fired power plant output as tensions in the Middle East continue to escalate. A developing trade dispute has sparked a surprising economic shift between two global superpowers. Iran has reportedly proposed that all oil tankers transiting the Strait of Hormuz must settle transactions in the Chinese yuan, a move that could have significant diplomatic implications for the US and China. The proposal, which was first reported by Asia Times, would require US-bound tankers to pay for oil in yuan rather than the US dollar. This would be a significant concession, as it would allow the US to continue using the dollar as a primary currency for international oil trade. The proposal is seen as a response to US sanctions on Iran, which have had a significant impact on the country's economy. By requiring payment in yuan, Iran is effectively evading these sanctions, which are designed to punish the country for its nuclear program. China, which has a close relationship with Iran, is also seen to benefit from this proposal, as it would allow the country to expand its influence in the region. The move also has implications for the US, which has long been critical of China's rise as a global economic power. The proposal could be seen as a challenge to the petrodollar order, which has been the dominant currency for international oil trade for decades. The US has historically used the dollar as a reserve currency, which gives it significant influence over global economic policy. Kashif Hassan Khan, an economist at Cambodia's Paragon International University, notes that this proposal should be seen as a geopolitical signal rather than a purely technical proposal. He argues that Iran is trying to fuse military geography with monetary strategy, and that this move is a significant challenge to the US and its allies. We're taking a closer look at the latest development in US-Iran relations, as the President of the United States reassures America's allies on the diplomatic front. US President Donald Trump has stated that the US is in contact with the right Iranian interlocutors, indicating progress in talks to end the ongoing war between the two countries. According to Trump, Tehran is eager to reach a deal, with the president claiming that the Iranian government wants to make a deal so badly, you have no idea how badly they want to make a deal. The US president mentioned that Iran has sent a big present worth a tremendous amount of money to demonstrate its willingness to negotiate, which he stated was not related to nuclear issues, but rather to oil and gas. A number of people are conducting the talks with Iran, including Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Envoy Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law. Iran has not confirmed the claims, but Tehran has long maintained that it has no intention of developing nuclear weapons. Trump claimed that the regime in Iran has changed significantly since the US killed all of the leadership that created all those problems. However, some officials, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Dan Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, are reportedly quite disappointed with a possible deal. The US-Iran tensions have been ongoing for years, with the US imposing sanctions on Iran and Iran responding with missile tests and other forms of aggression. A deal between the two countries could potentially ease tensions and reduce the risk of conflict. However, the complexity of the negotiations and the differing goals and interests of the parties involved make it difficult to predict a successful outcome. That's all for today's news recap. Thank you for joining us. We'll keep you updated on the latest developments as they unfold. Don't miss our daily news briefs. Subscribe now to our channel and stay informed on the world's most pressing stories. We'll see you in the next video.